This is a private residence, man.
What's up, dudes? This is the Lockpicking Lebowski, and up next we're going to be taking a look at this American lock. This was traded for another lock from Jeff Moss, the Moss Man. I really appreciate it, Jeff. This is exactly what I was looking for. It's actually got chambers 6 pins, but it's only pinned up with 5. You can take a look at the key here. It's actually pretty tame bitting, but that's not really any matter because we're not going to be using the key. But as you can see, works just fine. The very first thing I did when I received this was remove the wafer. And we can take a look here and see what happens when you bump one of these with a key. It's actually a 6-pin bump key there. You can see it puts a big ding in the back there where the wafer resided. So we'll stick him back in the envelope. And let's proceed to opening. We're going to open it a couple different ways. The first way is we're going to bump it. I got this bump key from bumpmylock.com back when they offered it as a premium 38 key bump key set. Actually, now I think they offer it as a 36 key set. First thing I did when I got that was trace every single key, map everything out, label everything, and that helps me familiarize myself with different types of key bows. I've been into this for about 3 years, but I still need to familiarize myself with different key bows and key ways. It's an ongoing learning experience. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to attempt to bump this open. And of course, now that we're on camera, it's probably going to give us grief, but we're going to give it a go anyway and see what happens. A bit difficult feeling that in there. Alright, usually I can get this on the first try, but since we're on camera, we'll see what happens. Yeah, of course not. Third time's a charm. Whatever, I'll take it. So we'll lock it back up again. Still operates just fine. Next way we're going to open it is with the Sparrow's bypass tool, which mine looks like this. I just ordered mine recently. You can see the tip is really thinned out. So we can focus here. It's pretty thinned out. I don't know how they used to look. I think they used to look thicker than that. I'm not really sure, but definitely very thinned out. And basically you just put it in the keyway, facing down away from the pins, and it's kind of a push and twist, and bingo, it's open. So the next way we're going to open this is by single pin picking. We're going to be using a 50 thousandths Peterson pry bar and a Sparrow's Reach, which has a tiny little dimple or divot in the very end of it. I've actually tried to open this with a lot of different types of picks, and I found this one was preferable to all of them. So let's see what we can do here. Got click out of 5. And now that we're doing this on camera, oh well, anyway, it's open, so I'll take it. So now let's go ahead and gut this sucker and take a look at the innards. Takes a Phillips head screwdriver. Let's see what we got. Okay, return to the side there. Let's get this clip removed. Really need to order a clip remover tool. A board lock picker. Shout out to you, man. I know he was using one and I inquired where he got his. I think this one's actually not too bad. I can just keep that straight there. It's actually not too bad. Okay, there's that. Now, let's see if we can get this followed. My attitude with shims is once your shim is really, really beat up, and I mean, it's just really, really had its at the end of its life, use it again. And again, and again, and again. Just keep using it. Torture that shim. Yeah, I just don't think my plug follower is going to really like the end of this. I really need a better plug follower for something like this. I'm not really sure, but anyhow, we're just going to get this sucker ready. Okay, good enough. So let's get this thing followed. Just going to set this aside. And now let's examine the innards. There's pin 1. Key pin 2. Key pin 3. 4. 5. And of course 6 is empty. Now let's take a look at the other pins. Okay, there's our spring. There's pin 1. We'll get him turned and oriented later. Okay. And so the first one was serrated. The second one is a spool. Orient him later. There's our spring. Number 3, serrated. Number 4 is spool. And number 5, you guessed it, serrated. Alright, so let's get a close-up on these bad boys. Alright, let's see what we can do here. There's our serrated. I actually have him oriented like that. There seems to be like, well, he just jumped. There's a wider gap at the top than there is at the bottom. And here's how our spool pins look. Our spools actually have tiny, tiny little serrations at the top and bottom. And it's actually sharper. It's kind of sharper drop off on one side than the other. The other side's kind of rounded, so I use that sharper drop off at the bottom, so it really gets hooked at the bottom like that, and it's just a lot more difficult time getting him pushed up. As far as our key pins, let's get those oriented. All of the key pins are serrated, and it really depends. Just depends on, I thought it was length dependent, but apparently not. That one's long, but it's got one serration, and that one's shorter, but it's got 2 serrations. I would have thought the longer ones had more serrations, but apparently not. Anyhow, that is my very first American 100 from the Moss Man. And I really appreciate the trade, Jeff. Big Lebowski is paging me, so I gotta go, and I'll see you all next time.